our second conversation. We'll get you up to speed because we started talking before the break. This is a conversation about how vocational and trade schools are coping during the pandemic. We've talked a lot about online learning and distance learning, but what's happening with these particular institutions and their students? We have with us to share their experience on Zoom. We have Josette Espadas, who is the administrator for ITVET Orange Walk. We have on set with us Denroy Tillett, who is the manager at ITVET Belize City. And we have Rasheed Carballo, who is a teacher at Tubal Trade and Vocational Institute. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into the conversation. We've talked with schools quite a few times about how they have been managing with the pandemic, challenges they're seeing, opportunities they're making the most of. What's the situation with vocational schools? Let's start with you, Denroy.
Okay. Well, the vocational schools, to me, I believe, took the hardest hit when it comes to online education. Last year, I believe, and Josette will be able to tell you for Orange Walk as well, we jumped directly into trying to make the best of the online situation. We got our teachers quickly trained in using one of the online platforms, learning application platforms. And we got students sign up into doing it online. But pretty soon we found out that while that is one way to try to get them into still learning something, it's only theoretical aspect. And having lost that work-based learning, that practical assessment, practical development in the labs, quickly made us realize that we have to return to face-to-face when it comes to TVET. Right? We did alternative methods, but it's just not like being there in those labs.
Over the course of the pandemic, have you had any opportunity to get back to face-to-face?
Yes. We fought, well, let me not say fight, we lobbied with the ministry, and of course the Ministry of Education with the government that was in at the time saw the need as well, and we got the institutions to open up in April.
Okay.
And this was along with many other schools as well. Of course, we had to apply and prove that the institution is safe for the students, but we did do some practical development, and we did manage to get students to complete, trainees to complete by July.
One would think that perhaps because when you think of vocational studies and what have you, these particular courses, that you have a smaller population of people you're dealing with, so perhaps it would be easier to have them face-to-face. Because when you think vocation, you're thinking mechanics, you're thinking plumbing, for instance, you're talking catering and all these other stuff.
Yeah.
What are some of those challenges that you're facing now that would prohibit you from being able to have these individuals in person around the various labs and what have you?
Well, challenges now that even if they're online, we have the challenge of students' connectivity, having devices. I'm not sure if we had any that have actual electricity, lack of electricity at home. I don't think so, from the little survey we did. But even that can be a challenge in itself. And even with having, I mean, those that don't have them already are at a disadvantage. We create learning application packages, just like other schools, to give them handouts to read. We give them videos. Some teachers are creative in going into the lab and video what they're doing live in the synchronous session. But it's still not enough, and the students are still not getting those specific skills. So the challenge there, then it creates a lack of interest eventually.
Especially if they're practical learners.
Yeah. Last year we started with about 132 students, and by April, May, when we returned to practical, we had half of that at ITVET Belize City. It was quick, the interest dropped quickly because these students sign up for a TVET institution because they're hands-on.
Yeah.
It is the competency-based system, not the academic base. So being there online to them is that academic base. They're just getting theory. They just have to read. They just have to write something, and that's not them.
Essentially, the same things they would have been running away from in a normal high school setting is what they would be relegated to now because they don't have that actual physical contact, right?
A 50% drop in enrollment. That's
Roughly, a little bit over. A little bit, sorry, less than 50%.
Let's get Josette in because I know Orange Walk has been working. You've diversified what you've been offering as well. How have you been coping?
Good morning again. Since March of 2020, we have been doing online classes. As Mr. Tillett said, we did have the chance to return to campus. We returned in June and July. And I must say thank you to my instructors, the maintenance personnel, the security guards, the office personnel, all the team. Essentially, we had zero contaminations or zero cases on campus. So we returned safely, and the trainees were grateful for that because, of course, the online, as Mr. Tillett also said, the instructors are very creative, showing demos themselves, doing practicals, but it's different. That hands-on is different. We are a trade school. We didn't have much of a dropout rate. Our trainees were excited to come back. This year, we are up to 290 trainees. We are still coping with the online classes. Our instructors have to get self-taught in the use of Google Classroom, of course, with the assistance of administration and in having them have in-house workshops. We do the work packages for those trainees who unfortunately do not have access to internet or to a device. As you can see there on screen, that's our auto mechanics instructor in his workshop teaching. He was showing them a little video, a demo of the actual segment that they're on and the actual part that they're on in their curriculum. But it has been, we have had some difficulties, but we have also had some successful trainees. We did complete in July, as I said, for many. Which the transition from the virtual to the hands-on in class was a little bit smooth because of course they were there every day. So since March of 2020, when the initial lockdown started, we jumped on the opportunity to do this online class and the posting of work and the doing of work and even having WhatsApp groups so that the students or the trainees and the instructors can communicate even after having classes. We tried our best to give that extra to our trainees and not shortchange them as much. We know this pandemic has caused havoc all around and TVET schools are not an exception, but we've tried.
So you said you haven't seen much dropout, but is the enrollment the same as your average intake?
Honestly, yes, we've had the same enrollment.
Okay.
We tried as best as possible because we go through a process where we do an initial interview. Of course, all safety protocols were established during this interview, and the trainees and the parents were excited. They are still excited to join the Orange Walk ITVET. On a daily basis, we still have people coming to pick up applications. We still have people enrolling because, of course, we have that open entry, open exit policy here where they can start at almost any time in the training cycle. So I must say for us here in the north, or at least in Orange Walk, we have had a steady intake, and our intake, as I said, to date is 290. We're normally at 300, 310, so I would say fairly we're at the same spot.
And is it the same demographic, or are you seeing a change in the students who are enrolling?
It's the same. We have the same, the high school students, the high school leavers, the students who really just are adamant that they want TVET education, and we have to place them in the pre-vocational group, of course, because they haven't completed high school. So that eagerness to join the technical vocational field is still there.
Okay.
Let's get Rasheed into the conversation at this point. What is the situation you guys are faced with at Tubal?
So basically we are a bit similar to ITVET because we have experienced more students in the past
but we are at a low number now, probably under 50, because the students that we do cater to around that area in which Tubal is, a lot haven't registered, a lot haven't came out. And when it comes to working with the students, we do, as a body at Tubal, we had agreed to do the package as well because most of our students cannot afford the devices, probably, and not even the internet. So we had agreed to have them come in on a one-on-one basis. So probably for the practical part of it, they would come in and me and the student would have like a one-on-one session. When it comes to the practical, we had do it in a way that we can facilitate at least all our students throughout the week on a scheduled basis.
Yeah. So less students does allow you to be able to do those one-on-one practicals. But I have a question. So it's very different realities, clearly, Orange Walk and here in Belize City with Tubal and Belize City ITVET seeing a reduction in number of students. Do you know if it is if it's attributed towards the way the classes are going online, being more academic focused, theory focused, or is it also financial issues? Because we know the economic loss is also a big issue with dropout rates in some of the schools.
It is that socioeconomic factor. There are a lot of trainees for us that live in the River Valley area as well. They travel from Boom, they travel from the Boom area, they travel from the northern villages. We have a few west, Hattieville area and up to St. Matthews. And the Ministry of Education would have had school buses running, and that would appease a lot of the traveling finances. And since that stopped as well, they're not able to come into the city. So that's one thing that stopped a lot of them from coming last April. The other is, again, some of them were not able to pay their school fees, even though the school said, okay, come in, we'll work it out. We give discount, we try to create a payment plan, but there's still those that could not afford it. Many of them would have had parents or guardians that worked in the tourism industry and other industries that were hit very hard. So it is, to me, in our little research that we've done, is the socioeconomic factor that played a big role, along, of course, with the fact that they rather be hands-on and practical. The demographics did play a big role as opposed to Orange Walk people and Belize City. It has a lot to do with culture as well, I must tell you. Yes, from my point of view and looking at it, I mean, everywhere I go, I meet someone from Orange Walk in the entire country. They're not afraid to go somewhere, work. It's something cultured in that district. And in the city now, we have a different mentality, or we're a culture of people who, yes, they want to stay and remain in the city. And there are other factors, of course, that add to it, but certainly the culture and behavior of people.
In that case, I would want to think that, for instance, for Tubal, since it's Ladyville based, you have perhaps a majority of your student population from in and around that area, correct? Or leading up to Moscow, have some students that come from Moscow.
I mean, it's fascinating, just the different perspectives for 3 vocational schools. One, you are doing paper-based. You guys recognize there's probably not going to be access to digital devices for the majority of students, so you went with your packages. You're doing some online and some packages as well. I know, Josette, you said that you guys are doing online.
Out of the 290 trainees that we have, we only have 20 of them doing paper packages or package-based learning. As I said during the initial interview that we had for registration, we did express to the parents that we will be doing online, and most of them made an effort to get a device or to try to get internet at home or try to find a way for their son or daughter to be on the online classes.
It sounds to me that your students have a lot more parental involvement. Is that a part of what you think is driving the push for them to complete their certificate, their course?
I must say we're very grateful that we have a good parent base at our institution. Our parents are very much involved. We are just last week, for example, we had our virtual parents meeting. This week we're having the one for the other two groups. So we try to keep in communication as much with the parents. We also have WhatsApp groups for our parents. So I do believe that that triangle, as they call it, the parent, institution, trainee, does work, and it has helped us a lot, especially in these trying times of online classes.
What about the economic impact? Are people able to cover the cost of going to the school?
As Mr. Tillett said, we do have some trainees who parents have lost jobs. Here in the north, the free zone was a big deal when they closed down. Most parents have jobs there or in the sugar industry. But we are flexible. We do understand that we're in difficult times economically because of the pandemic. And we do liaise with the parents and we speak with them and we make payment plans for those who really can't afford. But we know that they have that urge to be at school. So the finances, the economic stability in Orange Walk does affect the enrollment or does affect the student coming to school or being online. In June and July, we did have that little challenge of trainees not being able to travel because they depend on the free buses from the government. But thankfully, out of the 3 buses that come, 2 of them still were able to bring in or bus in our trainees. So that did help us too.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the plan, Denroy? I know that the Ministry of Education has been kind of consulting around with different institutions. They've done surveys looking at low enrollment and dropouts in schools right here in Belize City. What is the plan of action moving forward? You know the importance of what your institution offers. I'm sure there has to be some kind of move to get things back in shape.
Well, one of the things, we have limitations to what we can do. One of the things we try to do, because even some teachers have those limitations as well. We have a couple teachers who do not have like a laptop, or if they had it spoiled and getting it replaced is not readily available. So we try to work with the businesses to get discounts for them to buy a device, to get a payment plan. Full Tech is working with us, and it's open for students and teachers. Besides that, we also, like what Mr. Espadas mentioned, we have the open entry policy. We started out at the beginning of, midway through August with about 70 students. Now we're up to about 95. So we still have enrollment coming in.
Okay.
It's slowly, but it's coming in. I guess they realize that they need to return to an educational institution, or especially a ITVET institution, to get some kind of practical or hands-on training that they can even self-employ, be self-employed. And the training we provide do open for them to be self-employed. Mr. Carballo can tell you that even in his area that he teaches, that once they're finished, they are capable enough to open their own little small business. So that's the avenue we're looking at, re-advertising, reaching out like what we're doing. That's why we're getting slowly people to sign in, and also create new programs. We have on stream a new program coming in with solar and renewable energy at ITVET Belize City. I've also spoken to a couple business areas. For example, we're working with one business in offering auto body, where the students will go to that specific business to do the training. And then in January, we have another one with transmission, specific in automotive, but in transmission again, where the students will go to that business to do the training. So we have to look at innovative ways to attract trainees, students to the institution, so that they see that they can do specific training that can benefit them in the future. I mean, during this pandemic, it's not only the students that are finding it difficult socioeconomically, but all of us.
Well, I was going to ask that because I know a big part of what you do, apprenticeship is built in. You know, you want businesses to be able to take in some of your students to learn on the job.
Yes.
But at a time where businesses are scaling down because of loss of income, how easy is it to get them on board with the apprenticeship program?
Well, it's the concept of reskilling and upskilling. Again, Mr. Carballo can tell you in his era you can reskill. There's new and innovative ways in cosmetology that they can learn. In automotive, it's no longer just dealing with an engine now, but it's autotronics, dealing with the electrical part of the engine and engine system, similarly with the transmission. So, and then it's the upskilling part is where we realize what industries are needed out there, and where students can get direct training for those. Look at the ladies down south who are engaged in solar panels.
That's a perfect
and
example.
here in the city, that's not available. It's up in Belmopan. So that's one direction we look at ITVET Belize City, along with working with the Ministry of Education, of course. And we're soon to open that lab.
Nice.
Well, it's in the process for solar and renewable energy. So you have to look at what is needed out there in the market, and how we can encourage young people to come in. And these are skills that are future skills that are needed, or skills that are needed now, and they can go get trained for it. Last week we were in discussion with Santander. We actually placed some students out there in apprenticeship, and they're going to be employed as well.
Nice.
So
I know, and marketable skills are important. Rasheed,
Yes, marketable.
you are at Tubal, you are one of their instructors, you're offering cosmetology courses. Talk about some of the courses that are offered there and where people seem to have most interest.
Okay, so at Tubal, some of the courses that we do offer is in construction, electrical, carpentry, and before that, before the pandemic, they did had more courses that was offered. However, they had to cut down because, like you said, the school is not making enough to pay the other instructors. So they probably got the courses that had more intake and keep those and release the others. Yeah.
And your cosmetology course?
It's fairly new. It's the
Okay.
first time they're doing it.
And what's been the interest so far?
Well, we have a open entry as well, whereby we are still taking in interested applicants that want to sign up, because the course is fairly new. It's, like I said, many times when courses are new, it takes time for it to grow, because people probably is not hearing about it as the other courses as well.
So what would you guys be doing to sort of either market the course or generate the kind of interest that would be necessary for persons to enroll?
So we are doing our marketing, correct. However, we wanted to do more outreach when it comes to like going to schools and stuff like that. But however, because of the pandemic and schools are closed, what I would do personally, what I want to do is reach out to other schools and present it to them and see where we move on from there.
Nice. And that's a skill that people can always, even if they can take it on as a full-time profession, or they can also do it in addition to other jobs as well.
Yeah, because I was working before at a bank and was doing it. And I see the need for it and I went into it full-time. However, I always feel as if, because I have this talent, I want to share it. And hence the reason why I started to teach it.
Let's talk about the courses that Belize City ITVET has.
Well, we have automotive with autotronics, carpentry, electrical installation, cosmetology, food preparation, food and bar service, hospitality skills for the hotels, and welding.
What's been the hardest one to translate online?
It will be the automotive for sure, and the welding. Last year we realized that, well, for a course like cosmetology that we offer for the food preparation, food and bar service, it was easier for the students to do their work at home, video what they're doing, or even taking still photos and send it to the instructor for assessment.
Okay.
But when it comes to the welding or automotive, and even the carpentry,
The tools.
the tools and the place to do it. So those were harder courses to do at home, unless there's a business that allow the trainees to go there and do the practical. You see, so it's where we have to work along with industry to get these skills to be done while we're in online training.
And where do you see the largest interest right now?
In our electrical and AC and refrigeration. I forgot to mention AC and refrigeration as well. In electrical and AC and refrigeration, that's a course that gets filled even before school opens. Even before we say that we're taking new intake. Yeah, those are, and we normally have like 40 students in that course, those courses, electrical and AC, because we offer them as a pair, and that's filled already. We also have evening electrical installation level 1 and level 2, and those are always full as well. In fact, we're supposed to advertise it, I believe, as of this week, and already we have the level 1 full. And we haven't even advertised it, open it to the public as yet. You see, so it's always electrical and AC, then followed by the food prep, the cosmetology, and the welding and auto.
Okay. And for you, Josette, what's being offered? Did you have to scale back on any courses?
Well, thankfully, no. We had to actually cut down because too much people wanted to attend. We have what we call our technician programs. We've changed from the track system where we offered 3 trades to now our technician program where we offer 2 solid trades. This year at level 1, we have 5 of them running, which is the automotive technician, which is a combination of auto mechanics and electrical. The computer technician, which is the combination of computer service and repairs and web programming. Construction technician, which is the combination of plumbing and AC and refrigeration. Facility maintenance technician, which is the building and grounds maintenance with general construction, and the construction technician number 14, which is the home repairs and electrical installation. Of course, these are running as well with our pre-vocational program, which is a 2-year program for those students who came out from Standard 6, their first farm and second farm. We give them the background necessary before going into the trades. Of course, because the trades are at a post-secondary level, and we insist that it is both theory and practical, because if let's say, for example, you go to Belize Diesel and Equipment, you're doing auto mechanics, and your supervisor leaves you with a manual to fix a part for the vehicle, and you don't know to read and write or do calculations, then how would you be able to do what is necessary? So we insist that for technical and vocational education, you do need both theory and practical.
Yeah. All right. So let's just close off by so all of you have open enrollment, which means at any point during the year, if there is a person who wants to enroll in one of your courses, they can, if it's not filled.
Yes,
Correct.
if it's not filled.
All right.
And we also offer for people that is working and want to learn a trade as well.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you sharing with us just how you've been coping through the pandemic. Any final thoughts for our viewers?
Well, for us here in Orange Walk, we just want to give a big thank you, first of all, to the parents and to the trainees for trusting us. I want to take this opportunity publicly to thank the parents for having their trainees being vaccinated. We know that the vaccines are very important for us to get that 70% to be able to open up our institution and have our trainees come in. Thanks to the Ministry of Education for their support, their constant support. Thanks to the Orange Walk ITVET team for being there constantly, to our instructors who I know are a little bit stressed out because of this online, to our maintenance and security for keeping us safe on campus, both from the public and from the virus. And thanks to our manager, Mr. Armando Gomez, for always being the backbone of our institution. And we continue thriving. COVID-19 cannot bring us down.
All right.
Yeah, well, for me, I want to emphasize the students and getting vaccinated. We started out the year on the premise that if we would have majority or all of our students get vaccinated, we'll be able to have them come to the campus and do the face-to-face practical sessions. And just like what Ms. Espadas expressed, we want to thank our parents as well, and all the stakeholders at ITVET Belize today, and especially the teachers, because like what she said, they're stressed out. They're not used to online training. They still need more training as we speak in online delivery, and we're learning it together, but we're doing our best. So
All right.
At Tubal, we want to thank the parents that are entrusting their children with us. However, we are encouraging our students as well to get vaccinated. And so far, as a body of staff, we are vaccinated. As a matter of fact, I have my second vaccine today.
Nice.
And also, we want to thank the director and the assistant director, Mr. and Mrs. Bailey, as well, for opening their doors and continuing.
All right. Well, we do wish you all the best of luck. Very important work that you're doing, and you know, I think it's important for people to know, one, that you're carrying on with your courses. You're finding innovative ways to do it, and if it is today or tomorrow they make the choice that they want to learn a new skill set, they can enroll at one of the ITVETs and be able to do so.
Well, TVET is the best choice, you know.
All right.
Just need people to realize that.
All right. With that, though, we're going to go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.